Hello guys, this is Bushi-san, and today I'm gonna be just talking about a video. It's kind of really an educational video, or a little bit more about. Oh shoot. Let me just start again. Okay. Just gonna repeat that again. This is Bushi-san, and today I'm gonna be just talking about well, one thing that I do sort of on my free time is you know, trying to remind myself what it is to be on the limits, to be on the edge, what is to, you know, be there with the car, So that's why I call this on the limits, because you really on the limit with the car where you know, all the input. I will talk about it here for you guys. I think you guys know what car this is. This is the McLaren Honda the MP46, the V12. Is 1991 world champion. Is driven by Ayrton Senna. I think you all should know that for those who knows their racing histories. So now here we go. I'm gonna talk about it. All right. Oh, kind of slow it down there. So the reason I chose this car is because it's the last F1 car to have a clutch, a brake, a throttle, three pedal, and a stick shift. Everything that you do is up to you as the driver. Everything is you. It's you in the car. The car does what you tell the car, and the car gives you feedback. And this car is a very good car to experience what it is to be on the edge with the car on the most difficult, most difficult track in the world. So therefore, you have to be really on the edge. You have to, pay attention to everything that happens in the car. So you have to, know how fast to upshift, downshift, how much to turn, those sort of things, how much to brake, how much to throttle. It's like everything decision has to be made by you. You have to be right there with the car. You can't lag behind the car. You have to be there. You have to, almost in a sense, ride the horse, but you're driving the car, Formula One car, a world winning car, And that shift is great shifting right there. See, I think I sort of made a mistake, but I'm really just hyper focused. Everything is like on my fingertip. That's how I feel. It's like I can feel the rear tire spinning out on me. I could tell when I lose traction, And I really listen to the car. Just like I'm really focused, I'm just it's like I'm part of the car, really part of the car. It's like I really listen to the way I listen to how the car behaves, and then I react with the car. I give it feedback. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's like really on the edge with the car, and that's the only way you really experience is to drive a car that is very analog 6-speed manual. Require your mind, your soul, your heart, your mind, your soul, your heart, your body. Everything had to come together. To drive this car, to execute. To drive, to be a race driver in this car, in this racetrack. So everything had to come together. So that's why I love enjoying driving this car because I have to be there, you know. You know, my mind, the decision making, this have to be quick. It have to be right there, you know. Because the car is unforgiving, you know. Not unforgiving, but you make a mistake, you make a mistake, so you don't want to make a mistake. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be in your control, you know. Yeah, it's a really, really, really good car to be on the edge. Yeah, it's just, that's, you know, when I'm trying to get to the limits of the edge, I become the driver, or I become, like I said earlier, I'm a sponge. I just absorb all the feedback, you know, from the car, from how the car is behaving, how it turns, and what I'm doing, you know. I'm absorbing everything, you know. It's just be on the limits with the car at that moment, point in time. I'm nowhere else but right here with the car, you know. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I'm right there. I know what to do with the car. When I'm driving this car, when I'm going the limits, I'm there. Like I keep saying this, but I'm there with the car. Like I'm literally driving the car in the clean. You know. I mean, that may sound a little crazy to some people, but then that's how you have to be. That's how you have to go. You know, to experience what it is to go to the limit. You know, go up to the limit or on the limit. So here's the most good moments that always sort of like catch my breath, you know. Like catch my breath, recollect myself. You know, I'm right back to it because the corner is coming. Yeah, it's just. That's the wrong reason I drive this car is to remind myself what it is to be on the edge, what it is to be on the limits of the car, you know. So when I do drive other car that lead, I always try to find that limits of the car. I always try to find it. You know, what is go to the limits of this car on this track. You know, that's why I always come back to this car, is to remind myself, you have to find it, you have to find it, you have to feel it, you have to know it, you know. And sometimes some cars, you can't find that limit, you can't find the edge. You have to try, but it's also a good thing you know that, okay, you know, I just can't reach the limit of the car, you know. So that's why I do it, because to remind myself and to figure out a way to find the limits and to go on the limits on each with different cars, you know. So here I can tell that I'm a little bit off balance, you know. Get back in the groove. I always to be there is to drive the car. You have to be there. You everything, you know, your mind, your heart, your soul, your body, you know. When you go on the limits, you go on the edge, especially in this car, I'm not gonna lie, it's draining, it's very draining. Your eyes sweat, really hard. I have to have a fan on. It's hard mentally. It's really taxing because this car require you mentally to be there, with the car, while you're out, while you're giving the car input. But it's also exhilarating. It's also enjoyable. But boy, it is exhausting. Yeah, downshift is really sharp. I don't know, you guys noticed that I did two shift. I didn't go all the way down. So it's like what I've learned is you can decide how fast and how much shift you want to do. Yeah, I made a mistake there, but it didn't really matter because I knew what to do, because I was one with the car. Every time I drive this car, I always go to the limit. There's no, this car can go slow. It can definitely go slower and have a range. This car has a range, right? Range of speed. But to truly drive this car, you have to go to the limit. And feel where to go to the limit. Right there. I don't know, but you guys can tell, but I'm really, really, really right there. It's like being on the front of something, Really gone. A little breather, that's good. Probably like 219. Damn, I'm gonna pause here. There you go. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop right there and just because I do three lap and is if you guys know the experience is what it is to drive the McLaren MP46 at Nürburgring 3 lap, it's very taxing. Even washing it sometimes is taxing, because it's you really, 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 really you're there. You are on the edge. You're on the limits with the car. So I know it sounds funny me saying that, but sometimes watching this me driving the car is taxing, because in a way you sort of get lost when you go to the limits to the edge, even watching. So uh, I every time when I do a hot lesson, I always go to this car because it requires you to be there with the car. Your mind, your soul, your heart, your body, your passion has to be all there. Everything had to come together in order for you to go to the limits with the car. You cannot be, um, I want to say, you cannot be. Um, um, you can't have any sort of issues, prior to really driving the car. Because car asks a lot from you. It said, if you want to drive me, you want to win world championship, or you want a hot lap session around the Nürburgring, you have to drive me. You have to clean. Your mind have to be like empty. What I mean by the empty is that you have you all of the problem that you have is no longer here when you're doing this hop slap session. That you are there with the car, you are driving the car to the limits, and nothing else really matter. The only thing that matter is just you, the car, and the racetrack. So, and that's why I always come back to this car because it really really remind me. Like I said in my videos, in my commentary, that uh, I I come back to remind myself what is to be on the limits, what is to feel to be on the limit, what is to be a race driver, what is to enjoy oneself, enjoy driving on a racetrack, um, what is to be one with the car. Even though I get it, it's a simulation in a racing game, but and nevertheless, I always try to remind myself hey, even if it's a simulation, you have to be the driver. You have to breathe, eat, and think like a driver. You have to have this sort of mentality of going into racing or hot lap session, and or in car. So I always come back to this, and I always, try, like I said earlier, I try to find the limits of the car and try to go to the limits, to like every car that I drive in a league race because, you know, that's what you do as a race driver. That's it, the way you can try to get the most out of the car. Yes, you gotta find the best lines and where to cut. That's what thing. Yes, that's part of it too. But 80% of it is you. The input. You're the one that's doing it, giving an input to the car. So that's why I try to find the limits and then go to the limits. Um, in every car that I drive, in some car you just can't find it. It just it's not just that, but maybe you found it and just don't know it. You found it and you know that you can't go anymore because of the limitation of the car, the way the car is designed and the motors and the aero. That's a lot of factor. Let's just say that. But um, this car, I love going to the limits with this car because it really remind me, you know, what I need to as a race driver, and it remind me of uh, how to find it, to remind myself. One is for fun too, but is what is to be a true driver. A true driver in the sense that you go on the limits and that's all it matters in a race. Whether you lose or you get 15, 16, 17 place, it doesn't really matter, at least to me. And because I'm not doing this for a living, not for money. I understand that. So I I sort of let that go because I know that I'm doing this to become the best driver I can be. So that's all it matters to me. Yes, I want to be the world greatest. Everybody does. Everybody does. And people who tell you doesn't, they're just lying to you. But me, I always try to be the best driver I can be. I try to find the limits and go on the limits. And this car is probably one of the only car that can really get me to the limits. I think the Mazda does too, but much more slower pace. This is you go 100%. It's really that you give 100% to go to limits, or you don't give 100% and you just drive casually. There is almost no cap. The car does have a range, like I said, but in order to go to the limit, you got to go 9, 10, 10, 10 at 100%. And in order to really experience that going on the limits with the car on the most difficult track in the world, and your input has to be close to perfect, the timing, the upshift and downshift. You have to sort of be able to adapt when situation doesn't go quite right or the your shifting isn't perfect enough. So the little nuance that you have to be, you have to be there with the car, be one with the car, absorb all the feedback, paying attention to the car when the car giving you feedback. Listen to yourself too. How what you doing? How what you're doing with the shifter, paying attention to what yourself, what you're doing. So this car is a really good car to really hone your skill of just being able to paying attention, being one with the car, and forget everything. You have to forget everything and just be one. And that's this is what this car does for me. I don't know about you guys, but this what this car does for me is like, hey, you want to go 100, you got to go 100. It's either you do nothing or you don't. This is what I love about this car because this car it's really analog. 6-speed manuals, the stick shift, the car aero design is not much aero, but it is slippery, it is fast, and it's small and nimble. And I think this is probably I don't know, but I feel like this is a really good car to go to the limit, to the edge, to get there, to experience what it is to be a true driver, to be at that at be there with the car. I keep saying that, but that's what it is. You have to be there with the car. You cannot be behind. You have to be there. So that's what I found with a lot of cars. I feel like I could sort of step back, really, uh, drive casually, drive, um, you know, uh, with with not so much a sense of urgency. I feel like I can drive it much more easier, more calm, more easier because I've experienced the range from a slow car to a fast car and to a car like this car, super analog. Everything is all you. Nothing else, really. You are the one. Yeah. As ironic as that is, this car is what that is. So that's why I feel like a lot of the elite races when I do drive, I feel like I'm really sitting back. I'm not there with the car. I mean, in the last league racing car, the towers, I feel like I was I was close to being there. Like you know, I was. I think that's the best way to describe it. Like I had my hand on the steering wheel but I didn't turn the steering wheel. So if you get that meaning, I hope you understand what I'm saying. But with this car, I'm driving the car. I'm turning the car. I'm braking in the car. I'm downshifting in the car. I'm turning with the car. I can feel the tire braking. And like this car, you're really there. The car gives you everything back. That's the greatest thing about this car is it tells you the feedback. It gives you feedback through the engine noises, to the tire, to the feel of to the steering wheel, with the way the car behave. It gives you feedback. And in some of the cars that I've driven, they don't really give you feedback because because it's an amateur race and I don't get to feel the feedback from the car that we drive. So the closest is probably the Taos because that's a it's probably like an F4, maybe even a lower formula. No, no, rank on the formula ranking, Formula One racing. So it's probably like an F4, but still, I feel like I had my hand on the steering wheel. I just didn't turn the steering wheel. So if you get that metaphor, and this car, I'm there. I'm there with the car. I'm making a decision every moment, every second, every corners, every straight. So yeah. So I hope you guys have really enjoy watching me go on the limits, be on the edge of going there, getting there. So I hope you guys really enjoy this and get sort of my perspective and my view of racing. Uh, why I do things the way I do, and why I picked this car. Um, I personally I enjoy driving manual cars, especially Formula Ones, because it's so. I love driving the Lotus. The Lotus is a little wild. It's wow. It's a little unpredictable. This is probably is perfect. This and I know it's kind of too bad that Formula One don't drive, don't drive stick manuals anymore because I feel like the driving a manual is really, really, is at least on me. For me, I think that you could tell, you know, that the driver has to be good, extremely good. Not to say that I'm a modern driver, Formula One drivers are not good. They are. They're incredible, but you have to be such a well developed race driver driving a manual, especially in a F during Formula One when they had the manuals. So that's why it's just a little that it's not typical, but I really enjoy driving this car at Nürburgring and any other track really, but perfectly in at Nürburgring. So, guys, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this little commentary about going out here beyond the limit. Why did I do this? You know, talk a little about the car and what I feel, who I was, when I hop lapping this car at the Nürburgring in this 6-speed manual 3 pedal form in Formula One. I hope you guys got something out of it because I don't know if any other driver would share this sort of, you know, experiences, knowledge, um, I would say, yeah, experience, knowledge, um, you know, what it is to get there. I may not be the world fastest driver. And I don't claim to be. I'll probably never get there, but at least I know what I am, who I am, what I can do. But I hope you guys really get a lot from from this video because this videos I really talk deep about about racing, about who I am, why I do this, why I enjoy this car, and why you should drive this car and experience it. You know, um, but you will have to find it. If you can't find it, I can't help you. That's something that you have to do. To find what is to go to the limits and where it is at, what you gotta do. That you have to find it as yourself, as a driver. For those who are watching my video, you have to find that. I can't help it with that. I can explain it, I can tell you, I can show you, but you have to experience for yourself. You just have to. And I'm looking you guys in the eyes, and you have to experience it. There's nothing I can do to help you on that aspect. I just can't. That's something you have to do on your own. You have to find out on your own, and you do come back. We'll talk about it. And see if you can get there. So yes, guys. Please like, thumbs up, share, subscribe, and browse to my YouTube channels. I have a lot of content for you guys to check out. Uh, Thank you so much. Bushi-san out. Take care, guys. Bye bye.